right, so we've covered trust and we've covered mechanisms. We talked about how to compress that trust-building process when people are moving fast. And we talked about how to adapt your unique mechanism for buyers who need hope and justification quickly. And both of those elements are absolutely critical during Black Friday. But in this episode, we're going to unpack something that's going to determine whether those elements actually work or not. And that's whether you're positioning your supplement correctly for where your market actually is. Okay, let's get to it. Welcome to Health Business Mastery, the Creative Thirst podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Hewitt. So what most supplement brands don't understand is that the same product with the same mechanism can perform completely differently depending on how you position it. And by position it, I mean how you talk about it, what you lead with, what angle you take, how you frame the problem and the solution. And the way you figure out the right positioning is by understanding two concepts, market awareness and market sophistication. These concepts work together. And once you understand where your market sits on the awareness and sophistication grid, you'll know exactly how to position your supplement for maximum impact during Black Friday. Now, I've talked about awareness and sophistication before in other contexts, but today I want to specifically apply these concepts to Black Friday because Black Friday changes things. The noise level goes up. The competition intensifies. And the way people process information shifts. So let's start with market awareness. Market awareness is simply the answer to this question. How well does a cold prospect know about the product or the problem? Notice there are two parts there, the product and the problem. And they're both important. On the product side, awareness isn't just about whether they know your specific brand name. Most people coming to your Black Friday offers won't know your brand unless you're already a major player. But they might know about the category of supplement you're selling. They might know about the primary ingredient or ingredients. So the question is, have they heard of taking your primary ingredient or ingredients to solve their problem? For example, if you're selling a supplement for bone health that contains calcium, magnesium, and vitamins D and K, the question is, has your prospect heard of taking those ingredients for bone health? And the answer is probably yes. That's a high awareness market on the product side. On the other hand, if you're selling a supplement with some relatively unknown ingredient, most people probably haven't heard of. That's a lower awareness market on the product side. Now let's look at the problem side. The problem is the thing your prospect is struggling with or looking to solve or prevent with your supplement. And the question is, have they heard of the problem? This might seem straightforward, but it can actually get pretty nuanced because there are different levels of problem awareness. At the most basic level, they might be aware of the surface problem. Everyone is aware of aging, for example. Everyone knows what joint pain is. Everyone understands what it means to have low energy. But they might not be aware of the root cause. They might know they have joint pain, but they don't know that it's specifically caused by a depletion of hyaluronic acid in the joint fluid. They might know they have low energy, but they don't know it's because their mitochondria aren't functioning efficiently. And this is where things get interesting, because by going deeper into the problem awareness, into the root causes that people haven't heard about, you can find gaps in the market's knowledge. And those gaps are opportunities. If you can educate people about a root cause they didn't know about, and then position your supplement as the solution to that root cause, you've just differentiated yourself from everyone else who's talking about the surface level problem. Okay, so that's the foundation of market awareness, but it's not just a binary thing where a market is either aware or not aware. There are actually 5 levels of awareness, and understanding which level your market is at tells you exactly how to approach your Black Friday messaging. Level 1 is completely unaware. Your prospects are not aware of their problem or the need for a solution. This is rare in the supplement space, especially during Black Friday. If someone is completely unaware they have a problem, they're not shopping for solutions during a sale event. So we're not going to spend much time here. Level 2 is problem aware. They're aware of the problem, but nothing else. They know they have joint pain or brain fog or poor sleep, but they don't really know what causes it or what the solutions might be. They're just starting to look for answers. Level 3 is solution aware. They're aware of the problem, and they're aware that solutions exist. They might know that there are supplements for joint health or brain health or sleep, but they don't know which ones or how to choose between them. Level 4 is product aware. They're aware of the problem, they're aware of solutions, and they know about the category of product you're selling. They've heard of probiotics for gut health, or omega-3s for heart health, or melatonin for sleep. They might have even tried some products in your category before. And level 5 is most aware. They know about your specific product or brand. They might have bought from you before, or they've seen your ads, or they've heard about you from someone else. Now, here's what's interesting about Black Friday. The awareness level of your market actually shifts during this period. People who were at level 2 or 3 the rest of the year might jump up to level 4 during Black Friday because they're actively researching and comparing products. The intensity of their search behavior compresses the awareness journey. So even if your market is normally at a lower awareness level, during Black Friday, you're often dealing with people who have done at least some research. They're not completely cold. They've warmed themselves up by Googling and reading reviews and watching videos. This is important because it means your Black Friday messaging often needs to assume a slightly higher awareness level than your normal marketing might. Hey, I just want to take a pause here. Ever wish someone could just look under the hood of your business and tell you what you're missing, what you need to double down on, and what you need to stop doing? Well, that's exactly what I do on a business audit. I've helped generate millions of dollars for supplement businesses, and I can do the same for yours. We use a proven system built to generate results across every stage of your supplement business. So if you're ready to scale with clarity and confidence, apply to become a client at creativethirst.com. I'll show you exactly how to unlock your next stage of growth. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, now let's talk about sophistication. Market sophistication is the answer to this question. How many times has your prospect or the market heard the same or a similar promise before? This is about how jaded they are, how skeptical, how much they've been marketed to from similar supplement companies. And in the health and supplement space, the sophistication level is generally pretty high because people are constantly researching. They're constantly seeing ads. They're constantly being pitched similar sounding products, making similar sounding claims. If every omega-3 fish oil supplement says it supports heart health and brain function and reduces inflammation, the market has heard that promise hundreds of times. They're sophisticated. They're not impressed by those claims anymore, but realize that sophistication exists on a spectrum. And there are 5 stages, and each stage requires a different marketing approach. Stage 1 is when you're first to market. Think CBD when it first came out. The sophistication is very low or non-existent because the market hasn't heard your promise before. There are no or very few competitors. At this stage, all you need to do is state your claim directly and dramatize it. You don't need to be clever or fancy. Just say what your product does and make it compelling. But here's the thing, almost no supplement categories are in stage 1 anymore. The supplement industry is way too mature. Even if you've invented some new ingredient or new combination, the broader category you're in, whether it's joint health or immune support or cognitive function, that category has been marketed for years. So the market is already sophisticated. Stage 2 is when competition starts heating up. Your promise gets expanded. This is where you can get into hot water. with claims that you're not allowed to make as a supplement business. At first, it's just bigger versions of the original promise. If stage 1 was take this ingredient and build muscles, stage 2 becomes take this ingredient and gain a 1/4 inch on your biceps. Then it becomes 1/2 inch, then 1 inch, then 2 inches in 3 weeks. You see how you can get into hot water here? The promise keeps getting expanded across different dimensions, more specificity, more associated benefits, faster time frames, and consumer trust starts eroding because the claims keep getting bigger and less believable. Stage 3 is where most supplement markets sit today. This is when the market has heard all the claims before. They're jaded and skeptical. Bigger promises don't work anymore. The market needs a new way to make the old promise believable. And that's where the unique mechanism comes in. The unique mechanism is the reason why this will work. It's the proof for the claim. It's what makes your product different from all the others making similar promises. And sometimes in this stage, you'll see marketers get into a proof war. Who can show the biggest studies, the most impressive research, the strongest scientific backing? And that's fine to a point, but it can become an arms race that nobody wins. The key thing to understand about stage 3 is that the unique mechanism doesn't actually have to be unique in reality. It just has to be unique in the marketing. It could be a particular way your product is manufactured that nobody else is talking about. It could be an ingredient combination that others use but don't emphasize. It could be a delivery method or sourcing story. The classic example from outside the supplement world is Schlitz beer. The copywriter Claude Hopkins toured their brewery and learned about how they cleaned their bottles with steam. He asked if other beer companies did this, and they said yes, everyone does. But Hopkins realized that nobody was talking about it in their marketing. So he made it Schlitz's unique mechanism. He told the story of the steam cleaning process as the reason Schlitz beer was so pure. And it worked. Schlitz went from number 5 to number 1 in the market, even though they weren't actually doing anything different from their competitors. That's the power of a unique mechanism in stage 3. It's often more about positioning than actual innovation. Stage 4 is when the mechanism itself becomes elaborated, just like the promise did in stage 2. The mechanism gets expanded and pushed to the limits of believability. This is the sign of a very mature market, which is where most of the supplement industry sits today. Your prospects have heard about the mechanism already. They need something new, so the mechanism gets layered. More ingredients, more proof, more complexity. Eventually, it can become so elaborate that it loses believability again. And then there's stage 5. This is when no new mechanism works. The market is exhausted. They don't believe any of it anymore. At this stage, the marketing message moves away from the promise and the mechanism and back towards the prospect themselves. It becomes about identification and emotion rather than logical claims about the product. In this stage, you're saying, I see you, I understand you, I'm like you, rather than here's why my product is better. Now, understanding these stages is critical for Black Friday because Black Friday accelerates sophistication. Think about it. During Black Friday, people are seeing more ads, more offers, more promotions in a few days than they might normally see in a month. Every supplement brand is screaming about their deals. Everyone is making claims. Everyone is promising results. So even if your market is normally at stage 3, during Black Friday, it might feel like stage 4. The noise level pushes sophistication higher temporarily. This means your Black Friday positioning needs to account for this elevated skepticism. You need to stand out in a way that doesn't just rely on being louder or making bigger claims. You need to find angles that cut through the noise by being different, not just bigger. All right, so now that you understand awareness and sophistication, let's talk about how they work together and what that means for your Black Friday positioning. The way I think about this is as a grid. Along one axis, you have awareness from level 1 to level 5. Along the other axis, you have sophistication from stage 1 to stage 5. And where your market sits on that grid determines your positioning approach. If you're in a low awareness, low sophistication market, remember you can simply state your offer and promise. Just tell people what the product is and what it does. That's enough. But nobody selling supplements during Black Friday is in that quadrant. So let's focus on the quadrants that actually matter. If you're in a medium awareness, medium sophistication market, you need to expand on the promise. Don't just say what your supplement helps with. Get more specific. Add detail. Talk about associated benefits. Add timeframes. Make the promise bigger and more concrete, yet still be compliant. This is where you see copy like support healthy blood sugar levels already in normal range, or promote restful sleep and wake refreshed, or best metabolism booster. The promise is being elaborated to make it more compelling in a market that's heard basic promises before. If you're in a high awareness, high sophistication market, which is where most supplement categories are, you need to lead with your unique mechanism. The promise alone isn't enough. The expanded promise isn't enough. People need a reason to believe that your version of the solution is going to work when others haven't. So you lead with the mechanism. Go back and listen to the last episode where I break that down in depth. You lead with what's different about your product, your proprietary blend, your patented ingredient, your unique sourcing, your specific delivery method, whatever makes you different. And then if you're in a very high sophistication market where even mechanisms have been overused, you need to differentiate your mechanism and expand the benefit in new ways. Or in extreme cases, you need to shift to identification with the prospect. My course on how to write sales copy that converts for supplements goes into this in May, more step-by-step depth. But let's get back to Black Friday strategy before I get off topic, because you can actually use awareness and sophistication strategically to create different positioning for different segments of your market. Let me explain what I mean. Let's say you're selling a joint health supplement. It's got glucosamine, chondroitin, turmeric, MSM, all the usual suspects for joint support. And let's say this is a high awareness, high sophistication market. Everyone knows about joint supplements. Everyone has heard the promises. There's tons of competition. For Black Friday, you could position this supplement in several different ways, depending on which segment of the market you're targeting. For people who are at level 2 awareness, who are problem aware but not solution aware, you might lead with education about the problem. You might create content or ads that talk about the different types of joint issues, what causes them, why they get worse with age, and then introduce your supplement as part of the solution. Your Black Friday offer to this segment might be framed as, if you've been struggling with joint discomfort and don't know where to start, now is the perfect time to try a comprehensive joint health formula at our lowest price ever. You're not assuming they know anything about glucosamine or chondroitin. You're meeting them where they are, which is just starting to look for solutions. For people who are at level 3 awareness, who are solution aware but not product aware, you might focus on comparing different types of solutions. You might talk about how supplements are different from pain medications, how they address the root cause rather than just masking symptoms, how they work over time to actually improve joint health rather than just managing pain. Your Black Friday offer to this segment might be, if you're tired of relying on pain meds that only mask the problem, here's a natural approach that actually supports joint health from the inside out. And right now you can try it at 50% off. See the difference there? You're positioning against other types of solutions, showing why supplements are the better choice. For people who are at level 4 awareness, who are product aware and probably already take joint supplements or have tried them before, You need to lead with differentiation. You need to show why your supplement is better than the one they're currently taking or the ones they've tried in the past. This is where you lead with your unique mechanism. Maybe you've got a patented form of curcumin with better absorption. Maybe you've got a specific ratio of ingredients that work synergistically. Maybe you've got a different type or form of collagen that works differently than the traditional ingredients. Your Black Friday offer to this segment might be, if you've tried joint supplements before without getting the results you wanted, here's why ours is different. And for a limited time, you can try it risk-free at our best price of the year. You're acknowledging their past experience and positioning your product as the solution they haven't tried yet. And for people who are at level 5 awareness, who already know about your brand or your specific product, your Black Friday messaging can be much simpler. You don't need to convince them of anything. They already trust you. They already believe in your product. This is your buyer list, your email and SMS promotion, and even your very hyper-targeted paid ads to buyers. Your Black Friday offer to this segment is just, hey, it's that time of year again. Stock up on the joint supplement you already love at the best price we offer all year. 3-month supply for the price of 2. You're not selling them on the concept. You're just giving them a reason to buy more right now. See how different those approaches are? Same product, same ingredients, but completely different positioning depending on where the prospect is in their awareness journey. And here's the powerful part. During Black Friday, you can run multiple campaigns targeting different awareness levels simultaneously. You can have ads and landing pages designed for problem-aware people, different ads and landing pages for solution-aware people, different ads and landing pages for product-aware people. You're not trying to use one message for everyone. You're segmenting based on awareness and speaking to each segment in the language that resonates with them. You can actively do this anytime, not just Black Friday. But let's talk about how to handle sophistication specifically during Black Friday. Remember, sophistication is about how many times people have heard similar promises. And during Black Friday, sophistication temporarily spikes because of the sheer volume of marketing messages people are exposed to. So your positioning needs to account for this elevated sophistication. One way to do this is by finding what I call the awareness gap. This is when you go deeper into the problem than your competitors are going. You educate people about a root cause or mechanism they haven't heard about before, even in a high sophistication market. If you can introduce a new angle on the problem, you've essentially lowered the sophistication level for that specific angle because they haven't heard it before. For example, everyone knows about gut health and probiotics at this point. It's a highly sophisticated market. But how many people know about the specific role of butyrate-producing bacteria, a short-chain fatty acid produced by certain bacteria in the human gut? Or about how the gut lining regenerates every few days and needs specific nutrients to do so properly? Or about the connection between gut bacteria and neurotransmitter production? Okay, that one is overused. But if you can find an angle on the problem that feels fresh and educational, you've found an awareness gap. And that gap gives you room to position your product differently than everyone else in your category. Your Black Friday messaging might be, you've heard about probiotics for gut health, but here's what most probiotic supplements are missing. And then you introduce your unique angle, your mechanism, your differentiator. Another way to handle high sophistication during Black Friday is to use what I call mechanism stacking. This is when you don't just rely on one unique mechanism, but you layer multiple differentiators. You might have a unique ingredient plus a unique delivery method plus a unique sourcing story. Each one individually might not be enough to overcome the sophistication barrier, but together they create a compelling case for why your product is meaningfully different. Your Black Friday messaging might be, here's what makes our formula different. First, we use the patented form of ingredient X with proven absorption. Second, we source exclusively from organic farms in this specific region known for high quality. Third, we use a delayed release capsule so the ingredients reach your gut intact. No other supplement combines all three of these advantages. You're not just saying you're better. You're giving multiple concrete reasons why. Now, there's a balance here. You don't want to make your messaging so complex that it's confusing. Remember, during Black Friday, people are moving fast, but you also don't want to be so simple that you sound like everyone else. The key is to lead with your strongest differentiator, and then quickly mention your secondary differentiators as supporting evidence. Something like, our formula uses the patented ingredient X, which is absorbed 3 times better than standard forms. Plus, we've added ingredients Y and Z for synergistic support, and every batch is third-party tested for purity. That's why we can confidently say this is the most effective formula in our category. You've led with the main mechanism, stacked some additional differentiators, and made a strong claim that feels backed up by the evidence you just presented. Another sophistication strategy for Black Friday is what I call the anti-positioning approach. This is when you position against the market rather than within it. In a highly sophisticated market, everyone is shouting about why their product is the best. Everyone has the most powerful formula, the highest quality ingredients, the best results. And all that noise creates an opportunity to position yourself as the anti-hype option. Your Black Friday messaging might be tired of supplements that make big promises and don't deliver. We're not going to tell you our joint formula is a miracle cure. What we will tell you is that it contains research-backed ingredients at clinical doses, it's manufactured to pharmaceutical standards, and it's helped thousands of people reduce joint discomfort over time with consistent use. No hype, just honest nutrition. You're positioning yourself as the rational, trustworthy, no-nonsense option in a sea of hype. And in a high sophistication market, that can be incredibly effective. This approach works especially well if your target market skews older or more educated, people who are tired of being marketed to, people who want straight talk instead of sales pitches. Now let's go deeper and talk about how to use awareness and sophistication to structure your Black Friday funnel. Most brands make the mistake of trying to use the same funnel for everyone. Same ad, same landing page, same offer, regardless of where people are in their awareness journey. And that's leaving money on the table. And instead, you should be thinking about different funnels for different awareness levels. For low awareness traffic, people who are problem aware or solution aware but not product aware, you need an educational funnel. Your ad introduces the problem or the solution concept. Your landing page educates them about why supplements are a good option for their issue. You're warming them up before you ask for the sale. Your Black Friday offer in this funnel might be a discounted starter kit, a 1-month supply at a great price, low commitment, easy to say yes to. You're getting them in the door, not trying to maximize immediate revenue. For medium awareness traffic, people who are product aware and have probably tried supplements in your category before, you need a differentiation funnel. Your ad calls out their past experience and promises something different. Your landing page focuses on your unique mechanism. You're showing them why your supplement is worth trying, even though they've tried others. Your Black Friday offer in this funnel might be a 2 or 3 month supply with a strong guarantee. You're giving them enough product to actually see results, and you're removing risk with the guarantee. You want them to commit to giving your product a real shot. For high awareness traffic, people who already know about your brand or product, you need a conversion funnel. Your ad is direct. Here's the deal. Here's the deadline. Here's the link. Your landing page is streamlined. Remind them why they love your product. Show them the offer. Make it easy to buy. Your Black Friday offer in this funnel might be a bulk discount. Buy 3, get 2 free. Or subscribe and save plus an extra discount. You're maximizing customer lifetime value from people who already trust you. See the difference? You're not trying to force everyone through the same funnel. You're meeting people where they are and giving them the experience they need based on their awareness level. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds complicated. This sounds like a lot of work to set up multiple funnels and multiple campaigns. And yeah, it is more work than just creating one ad and one landing page and hoping for the best. But the results are worth it. If you need help, reach out. When you match your positioning to your market's awareness and sophistication level, your conversion rates go up significantly. Your cost per acquisition goes down. Your return on ad spend improves because you're not wasting impressions on people who aren't ready for your message, and you're not boring people with basic information they already know. You're giving everyone the right message at the right time. And here's the thing, you don't have to do this perfectly. You don't need 10 different funnels. Even just having 2 or 3 different approaches based on awareness level will put you way ahead of most of your competitors who are using the same generic Black Friday sale messaging for everyone. Start simple. Create one funnel for lower awareness traffic and one for higher awareness traffic. Test them, see what works, and then you can get more sophisticated over time. All right, let me give you a practical framework to apply this. First, identify where your market sits on the awareness and sophistication grid. Be honest about this. Don't assume your market is at a lower awareness level than it actually is just because that would be easier. Look at your category. Look at your competitors. Look at what messaging is already out there. If you're selling a joint supplement with glucosamine and chondroitin, you're in a high awareness, high sophistication market. Full stop. Don't pretend otherwise. Second, identify your primary differentiator. What makes your product legitimately different? Is it an ingredient, a formulation, a manufacturing process, a sourcing story? Find the thing that's truly unique or at least uniquely positioned. Third, craft your core mechanism message based on your market's sophistication level. If you're in stage 3, lead with your unique mechanism. If you're in stage 4, differentiate your mechanism and expand the benefit. Use the framework we talked about in the last episode to compress this into tight, compelling copy. Fourth, create variations of your messaging for different awareness levels. How would you talk to someone who's problem aware versus someone who's product aware? What would you emphasize differently? What would you assume they already know versus what would you need to explain? Fifth, map out your funnel strategy. What's your approach for lower awareness traffic? What's your approach for higher awareness traffic? What offers make sense for each? And sixth, test and optimize. Black Friday moves fast, but you can still gather data and make adjustments. Watch your metrics. See which messages resonate. See which funnels convert. And double down on what's working. The brands that win during Black Friday aren't necessarily the ones with the best products or the biggest discounts. They're the ones that understand their market and position accordingly. They're the ones that meet people where they are instead of trying to force everyone into the same box. So take the time to really understand where your market sits on the awareness and sophistication grid, and then craft your Black Friday positioning to match. Don't just copy what your competitors are doing. Don't just assume that bigger discounts are the answer. Think strategically about how to cut through the noise by being different and relevant. All right, that's the awareness and sophistication play for Black Friday. In the next episode, we're going to talk about desire and hope specifically, how to amplify these pushing forces when buyers are comparison shopping and making decisions in seconds. Because understanding awareness and sophistication tells you how to position your message, but desire and hope are what actually create the emotional energy to buy. So make sure you catch that one. Until then, figure out where your market sits on that grid, be honest about it, and start thinking about how your positioning needs to shift to match. I'll see you next time.